how you doing? It's me, your girl Jenny, with another edition of Health Elevation Corner. I do hope, like me, you to remember that you are blessed and highly favoured, a magnet for miracles, the solution to someone's problem, and the answer to someone's prayer. Now, I do sound a bit nasally still. I've just coming out of very happy 10 days of the virus. And, you know, I'm really thankful that I had friends along the way, like really overdosed on vitamin C, vitamin D3K2, B12, but of course, you know, this was definitely a seriously close friend of mine, as was my super strength oil of oregano, which I've left in the kitchen. No, I haven't. You must have this in your cupboard. Papayas, watermelons, and first thing in the morning, your lime. Cut it in half, squeeze it, put it in water, pure lime juice. It will cut the cold, do whatever. So those are the things that I use to really help build myself up. And then, of course, there was lots of spinach, lots of green juices, because you need that when I was excessively tired and excessively thirsty. So liquid magnesium and the grey sea salt in the water to balance out my electrolytes, help to relax my muscles, help me to be able to absorb my zinc and do whatever. But also, then I had lots of green juices as well to get my iron levels back up so that I'd have energy. So back out on the tennis court now, back out in the spinning class yesterday, and this is just like 4 or 5 days later. So it's possible. But what I would like to do today is look at the squat. I'd like to look at our squat pattern, because we squat to get in and out of the car, we squat to sit down, to stand up, to do all sorts of different things. And especially as females, we're very tight inside the groin. Well, in fact, just people in general are tight in the groin. And a lot of hamstring pulls, knee and ankle sprains, a lot of low back pains are linked to the tightness that's in, 1, the groin, and 2, the hamstrings. And in order for you to be able to get an effective squat pattern without having to lift your heels, fall forwards as if you're trying to, use your hands to go forwards to stop yourself from falling, then you need to be able to open up the hips. Now, the butt is the biggest muscle in the body, and we spend most of our time sitting on it, allowing it to spread like butter. It was not designed to spread like butter. So it doesn't work very well. What happens then? The butt isn't firing the way in which it should do, so the knee, ankle, toe alignment is now out. So what's happening now is, instead of the external rotators of the hips switching themselves on, they're switched off. So as they switch off, the knees tend to drop in and the arches drop. And our arches are our natural shock absorbers, and we don't use them. We don't use them because we go to the gym, or we go and we train, and whatever we do it with shoes on. But I will be starting my barefoot core very, very shortly, so look out for that. And that will be all about barefoot training, because you're not born with shoes on your feet. You're born with natural shock absorbers. And the things in our toes, there's messages that are in our feet that communicate with our brain, go up and down to tell us, oh, that's hot, oh, that's sharp. All those things are being desensitized because we strap them inside of shoes all the time. So we need to get back to allowing our feet, our base of support, their ability to stand on the platform of natural boards like here, or grass or earth, where the energy is, so that energy can travel up through the body and help to heal us. Then we need to get used to using our middle, which is our center of gravity, over our base of support, and our eyes, the inner ear and the jaw, that want to remain level on the horizon, can then actually be able to read and say, right, well, the feet are doing this, so therefore the hips are doing this, and so therefore we need to be in the right position to do what we need to do. Because if we're out at the bottom or in the middle, we're going to be out at the top. So we need to be able to get the body working as the chain it was. The pelvis allows us to fold in the middle. The knees are our little hinge joints that allow us to fold at the bottom end, and we're able to get into the position in which we should be able to get into really quite easily. And we see children do this all the time. So when you see a child and the child goes into a squat position, you never see the child drop themselves forward. All you see a child do is literally just sit down, and then stand up. That's all you see a child do. You just see them drop down into that position there, and then bring themselves up. But we find ourselves in a position where we are so tight we can't get ourselves into that position. So I'm going to just show you very quickly 2 things you can do. I've shown you before about loosening up the low back and using the Mackenzie. So I'm going to show you 2 things you can do that will help to open up, 1, the inner thigh, where we are tight, and 2, the hamstrings, where we are seriously tight. You might sing a song when you're doing these things, you know. You might make some kind of noise, but it's just really showing you where you are. So you start off by doing your squat, measuring your squat, taking a picture. Take a picture of your position and your posture when you squat. Do these exercises. Take a picture of your position and your squat when you finish, and let me know. So, if you find that you're a squatter that has to lift your heels, you've got to go really wide, your knees turn in, your feet turn out here, you can't get down, the chances are you're very tight on your inner thigh and you're tight across your low back, but you're definitely tight in your hamstrings. So you want to start with a real simple side lunge. You should be able to take a side step, drop your hip, leave the ball, push off. Take a side step, drop the hip, not the trunk, drop the hip so you stretch that inner thigh, pick up the ball, push off. You should be able to get yourself into that position. Especially if you're of a certain age, under 40-10. Drop the hip, push off. Drop the hip, pick up. So what I tend to do is 5 to 8 each side, because then that's obviously 10 to 16 lunges on each side. It will work my heart and lungs, but it will loosen out my inner thighs. And that's a really good way of just getting into the inner thighs. And then I want to stretch those. So if I've got a ball, if you have a ball, absolutely fantastic bit of kit. I can roll my hip forwards, turn this foot out 45, keep this 180, get a good stretch on the inner thigh. If you don't have a ball, place the foot here, drop the pelvis down, try and hold the stretch for 10 to 15 seconds each side, and then change. So once you've done that, you now want to move in and stretch the hamstrings and the calves where you're very, very much tight. So what you want to do is get the tummy onto the thighs, so you Donald Duck yourself, tummy onto the thighs, fingers onto the toes. Now my back is flat, my chest is full, my back is flat, so I'm here. Or the only thing moving is my thighs, not my back, not my trunk. So I'm not pulling in and out, I'm staying here. So this might be a hard position for many people. You get into this position, chest is forward, you breathe in as you rock forwards, so I'm more into the balls of the feet. Now as I sit back into the heels, I'm keeping this connection. I'm not rounding the back or the shoulders, I'm keeping it right here. I imagine someone's got their hands on my cheeks and they're just lifting my cheeks to extend through my calves and my hamstrings, so they stretch here. So I breathe out here as I stretch, I drop the hip, I rock forward, I breathe in, I breathe out as I sit back, and I lift up, and I get my stretch. And I'm going to do that a minimum of 10 times. Then after I've done those 2 movements, I'm going to repeat my squat. So what I'm looking for now is the ease in which I can get myself down. I can lower myself towards the floor and then lift myself up. The function of the butt is to extend the hip. So the butt extends the hip. So when I sit into my squat, I need my butt to extend my hip. And to extend my hip means my legs start to straighten and up I come. I'm not rounding the trunk, I'm not arching, I'm not lifting my feet off the floor. My natural shock absorbers are switched on. My external rotators, I've loosened them out, they're switched on. I imagine there's a line for the middle of my knee and my second toe, that's switched on, and I'm able to get myself down into a nice squat, chest up. I'm able to hold this squat position, I'm able to bring it back up. So your challenge is to be able to get into that squat position, and once you can, just try and hold it for up to 1 minute with the knees pushed out The chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, minute finishes. You bring yourself up using the butt, not the knees, not anything else. And then you bring your Donald Duck yourself, bring your tummy onto your thighs, place yourself here, lift the cheeks up as if you're stretching, give yourself a 15-second stretch to release the hamstrings. Once the 15-second stretch is finished, you're already in a perfect position to literally just change the lever and just tip and sit. Push the knees apart. 45 seconds. Stand yourself up. Repeat. 15 seconds. Drop the lever. 30. Stand up. 15. Drop the lever. 15, 15. Open up. Feet in the thighs. Get the butt working. And then tell me how you feel. But that's going to help to improve gait, movement ability, but it's going to increase flexibility. And flexibility is the beginning of health and fitness. The more flexible you are, the more pliable you are, the better gait and movement ability you will have, and the better you will function for the long run. Yeah? So when you get to this age, where next year you're looking for your freedom pass, at least you know you can move well. That's all that matters. So until next week, guys, I hope you find that useful. Remember, you can find me on Instagram at Pelvic Secrets or pelvicsecrets@icloud.com. You can find me there. Got a couple of workshops coming up, but like I said, watch out for the barefoot core class, which is coming, because that's where you're going to really learn something. Until next week, stay blessed.